Yeah, Boston, only one more team can go to the grand finals, and it's time to get this losers bracket final started. Y'all ready? The first team coming to the stage, don't care what the scripts say, because they control their own fate. Get ready for Minnesota. Minnesota Røkkr. Show some love for Cammy, Attach, Afro, and Bance. The Minnesota Røkkr, ready for whatever.
A team I don't think many had in the conversation of making it to the top 3 of this event look to fight their way into the grand finals. They sent many teams home with nightmares, and now they have to do it to our back-to-back champs from last year. They need to end that run right now to make it their way to Atlanta FaZe. Let's bring them on out, Blaze.
We'll see if they can, because this next team has so much history and legacy, and they ready to get another chip. Here comes your world champions.
So what's the plan? Same crew, but this time, we take everything.
Drazah and Octane, the LA Thieves, ready to run it back.
Get deep in the tournament that everybody starts to get scared, because these guys won back-to-back tournaments last year and got that world championship. And in that last series versus OpTic, Kenny was absolutely popping off. We'll see if he can do it again. Blaze, let's start this match.
Let's start it, Boston. I'm ready to go. So show some love to your casters. It's Lando and Study.
Let's do it, Boston. Let's end out at least our run with a good match. Let's end out this elimination bracket with a fantastic series as well. The LA Thieves taking on the Minnesota Røkkr. No pressure, Jay. It's only a difference of $40,000 between who wins and who loses this game.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of pressure, though, Lando. That's definitely a lot of pressure. Both of these squads want to make it to that grand finals. Obviously, on the side of Minnesota, tough loss versus Atlanta. All the way in round 11, losing 2 search and destroys is the biggest thing that stood out for me.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite side for LA Thieves, that was just clutch after clutch after clutch in those final 3 maps, man. That's the world champion, so this is going to be a battle.
Oh, it absolutely is. And this is really where it feels like the mental kind of gets tested for Minnesota. Like you said, considering that the LA Thieves are on this wild run where they've got a 12-1 map record right now. As you said, it feels like every time they're out of a series, they come climbing back in really multiple different maps, multiple different modes. What do you think is the biggest point of emphasis for the Røkkr, who, as we said, coming off of a loss, a very big loss at that, in the Game 5 round 11?
You have to start off hot. You have to come into this map number 1 and do the same exact thing you did versus Atlanta FaZe and take map number 1. You have to reset the vibes. You have to go into this series like, all right, we should have won that last one, but let's show why we deserve to be in that grand final. So this map number 1 is big for Minnesota.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I mean, I know it feels like a story we've told many times, but hard point, it is important for the Minnesota Røkkr. It feels like when they're winning them, they're in good spirits. When they're not, it's when things begin to get dicey. But the other side, Jay, this LA Thieves roster, how many times have we talked about this team rolling over, dominating in hardpoint? It feels like we're seeing the Thieves of last season. And last year, buddy, a lot of their success came from this very mode.
A lot of their success starts in towards the hard point, but them starting off on the better side. They're going to be able to get a lot of time off of this P1. Minnesota doing a great job of keeping the kills stagnant. They're able to find the break and now control the spawns. All of LA Thieves spawning out towards Kitchen.
LA Thieves looking with the quick spawn out, P1. A lot of time that we've actually started to see teams begin to accrue here on Hotel. Normally a very dicey hard point, not one that we're going to see a lot of seconds begin to get locked down. But right now the Thieves, 20 uncontested seconds off the rip. Røkkr, as we said, wanting to make sure that they've got the more preferred map positioning for the moment. And it appears, Jay, for right now, both teams have got what they want.
Yeah, both teams have got what they want. And to touch on this map a little bit more, I want to just focus on the SMGs because we saw the performance out of Afro and Bance all weekend long. But what Kenny was able to do in that last series, he stepped it up to a whole different level. So it's going to be LA Thieves getting a nice chunk of time off of this P1. The rotation is going to go in favor of Minnesota, the #1 rotating team on this map, and it showed early.
It absolutely has. Great work so far from Røkkr, at least to kick off this hard point, making sure that they did not allow for a break to occur. But with that pressure of allowing for so much time to go over at P1, now you got to lock things down. Now you got to hunker forward. And right now, Bance picking up from where he has left off pretty much in every single series, does eventually drop off of the 5 spree. And now here come the Thieves.
So far, this has been a great hold, but the Thieves, they find the opening, pushing through Shandy. You just have to win the next couple of gunfights. Envoy's able to find 2. Last player closest to the point is going to be Cammy. He gets taken care of. Octane finds the final. Octane finds 3, and that's going to be LA Thieves with the final 20.
With the final 20, and also potentially with the rotation as well. You've got player 5 who already finds himself in Kitchen. Kenny is finding 2 off of the cut as well. This is a phenomenal moment in the game already from the LA Thieves. This lead can start to get broken up. However, Røkkr are winning a majority of these fights. This has got to be a W, and it's going to be Bance who comes away with the crucial 1v1. Sweat off the brow already for Minnesota.
Yeah, right there. If you're the Thieves, you have the numbers. You just have to play it tight. You don't know how many players from Minnesota can be pushed out towards the back as the trades go in favor of the Røkkr. They're able to hold the setup so far in towards Kitchen, but the pitch is coming in. All of LA Thieves just fly in, they find the break.
And this has been their game plan, right? This is what they have done pretty much since the title has begun, is not really rotate a whole lot, but when it comes to breaking, they are top of the league and showcasing why that is their strong suit. A lovely 3-for-1 exchange. More points now toward the Thieves. Jay, they can hit 100 already.
Already, LA Thieves, the #1 breaking team that we have so far at Major 2. Gonna give themselves a nice little comfortable lead. Octane able to win a huge 1-on-1 versus Attach, but now it's all about the battle for these spawns. One player from Minnesota in Cammy is gonna spawn out towards Bedroom alongside Attach. Envoy eliminates both those players towards back. Spa, LA Thieves win the rotation. They're fully set up. Minnesota have to stop the bleeding.
We have Codcaster, we have the mini-map. For God's sake, we can see arrows, and I don't even know how the Thieves have managed to do this. Back-to-back-to-back hard points. They're making it look easy so far in Hotel. And right now, the Røkkr need an answer. So many times it's been the SMG line. Can they do it again? A full-on headbutt right now in the bar. And Octane able to come away with 1. Octane able to come away with 2. Trying to take Minnesota down himself. The nade over the top very well could decide how this hard point goes. Another triple in the feed for Benjamin Bance. Røkkr now with 20 to go left.
Those some big kills right there from Minnesota. This 20 seconds can be theirs, but they're trying to set up the traps. They're trying to force all of LA Thieves to continuously spawn out the back towards P2. But one player in Octane is going to get a nice little spawn. He's going to be able to now flip it for his teammate in Kenny as well, and they should be able to win that rotation. Now Minnesota have to try to break on through, and Drazah's cutting them all down.
And this is really the one guy, if you're a Minnesota fan, that you do not want to see begin to get going. Drazah eventually does fall, but he has had some amazing, amazing performances. Just went off versus OpTic Texas. But here comes the streak from Bance, having a phenomenal game to start. Can this streak have any impact whatsoever? And the answer to that will be absolutely not. Information, but that is about it. LA Thieves still locking down.
Still holding down. Still only 2 players left in towards the point. Drazah, he does get traded. Now it's all on Octane. He falls. So Minnesota, they're able to find the break. But with 30 seconds left, you have to get these kills and you have to push through. You have to try to chain a couple hard points together to try to get back into this one. It's Envoy with another 2-piece. He's finding kill after kill every time.
And right now for Minnesota, you got 15 seconds left. It's a matter of like, do we want to try to hit this for the final 10? Do we want to make sure we've got the roto? And for right now, they will invest a lot in trying to go for the final few seconds at Restaurant. Meanwhile, they'll put Cammy in a big spot. He loses that fight, and now that makes this 1v1 that much more important. Attach, who's able to drop that one. It's a big kill. So far, a slow game at 7 and 13. The same thing could be said for Afro. Not the greatest slaying performance from a few players here on the Røkkr. And once again, Jay, it is the Thieves with early time and another big gunfight there from Dylan Hannon.
Yeah, and right there, it's just Minnesota. They're trying to locate where Drazah is. He's been causing them problems at this kitchen area. Finds another kill. They were just trying to find the opening, but they cannot. LA Thieves have been able to hold their setup, but finally you take down Drazah. You maintain the back spawns. All of LA Thieves spawning towards the middle of the map. Neither squad is getting time, but Minnesota have the favorable side. They're going to be able to get on it.
We'll see how long it can last for when it comes down to these holds. 15 seconds to go, and Octane trying to contest late. It has been a picture-perfect start to this hardpoint if you are a Thieves fan. And I'll tell you what, I think it was Puckett who was touched on this a little bit earlier, how great the Thieves comms are. Let's go ahead and take a listen in with those boys.
That's fine.
I'm playing through hot tub late. I'll get him. I'm trying to live. Hot tub dead. And he's at the top end. He could go carry. He could go restaurant.
No, lobby.
Couches.
Lobby.
I'm
I went out left. I spawn cat. One might be.
How many pots up?
Nothing
I got time. I'm pushing lobby. They already be couches. I'm blocking kitchen.
Watch your couches. Dead. Oh my god.
We're good.
Hot tub dead.
Hit twice. Couches. I'm challenge guy.
Go for it.
Couches. One shot dead.
Nice. This is damn time. This is damn time.
Hot tub.
Restaurant. White.
Already through?
We're so good.
I'll be top guys. He's camera. Right above you. He went secret. Nice. Lobby. Two secret.
iBeZy time. Couch on me.
And one's gonna be A control, bro. A control coming away. You can leave him looking in.
You said control, so he's stuck me. I got him though. Hey, I back cross.
Go right.
Yo, once you're dead, I think. He's like low.
Just slow down. We're good.
That's one way. I'm
gonna go right with Zach.
Yeah, I'm holding this guy for a second.
Okay. He might be a little bit.
Logan snaking.
Might be a little bit. Zach. I'm looking.
Jump bar.
Got it. I got Nano's guy. Got it. It was a little bit. Oh, that's you. I got Nate.
One is Logan.
Hit him, Nate, though.
Back hole. Absolute.
That's it. I'm lobby.
I challenge you guys to challenge for me.
Let it check in. Luggage sometime. Luggage. Last back stairs.
Hey, look at D1. Lobby 2.
Lobby 2.
D1 late. This is only one right, if anything.
Oh, good. I'll spawn here. Live. Just low. Check in. Lobby.
That's fine.
And the small talk right there from the Thieves is everything that you want to hear. You're reassuring where the spawns are coming in. You even hear the small talk when they were setting up the break at that P2. Octane says, I can't chow. And then the pinch comes in. That's perfect from LA Thieves, but it's all Minnesota. Finding that remaining junk time, now only down by 70 points. LA Thieves are off the rotation, should be fully set up, but there's one player trying to make the play. He gets cut down. LA Thieves hold the first push.
Yeah, I'll say, man, I mean, just checking in with those comms, it was so great to actually be with the LA Thieves as they went for a break. There's no reason why they're not the best breaking team in the game when it comes down to comms like that. Already 30 points away from Colin's game here. And map number 1, Røkkr, they've got to break. They've got to rush forward here through kitchen with Kenny. Able to stun away with 2. Envoy on the other direction. He eventually drops. So it is Røkkr who are able to jump in for a moment. But Jay, they are hanging on by a thread. Attached, the captain of Minnesota, trying to get the boys going. But that scoreline is just not looking oh so great. Final 15 looks to go their direction. But once more, it is the Thieves with preferred map positioning.
Yeah, the scoreline's not looking great, and neither is the stat line for Afro. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I see him -10 all weekend. 12 and 22. Having a slow start to this hardpoint, but this game is far from over. 60-point game. LA Thieves fully set up. You have a player in Drazah pushed out towards bedroom, so it's going to make the break even more difficult for Minnesota. You just have to try to find a couple kills through the middle of the map, potentially set up a pinch through mid-single.
See if they can establish that pinch. Drazah able to cut away for 1. Afro, he drops as well. That's going to be 3 down. Bance, the sole member alive, is at least able to find a double kill, so the spawns will flip. Røkkr are here. But nonetheless, the Thieves, they've only got a few more points in order for this game to be done and dusted. And Jay, I think that's what the communication is right now for them. Hey, how do we want to jump in? Okay, it's just Envoy. Give him the gun, give him the nade, and he will do the rest. sensational hard point there from the Thieves in game 1. And Jay, that is just the way that they have looked so much throughout this tournament and oh so often in this elimination bracket.
That was just big adjustments right there from the Thieves. They just played this map versus OpTic, and the reason why they lost is because the majority of those hills, they did not have the preferred spawns. They were in control of the rotations. You get good time off of the P1, and then when they needed to find breaks at certain hills, they were able to do it. Slow start for Minnesota into this first hard point, especially out of my guy Afro. Double negative is not what you want to do, but S&D is where they need to respond. Minnesota at Major 1, though. The crazy thing is, when they got eliminated in that tournament, they lost 2 search and destroys. That's what happened to them in that last series. You have to answer here and not lose this one.
Yeah, you have to answer here, and for Minnesota as well, you got to have your big guns flowing. I mean, what we saw, Bance have some great moments, but I mean, how much do they rely on Afro? A heck of a ton. When it comes down to search destroy, when it comes down to respawns, you cannot afford for somebody like that, someone as valuable as that, to pretty much go double negatives throughout this opener hard point. But Jay, like we said, I mean, just off the rep, you could tell Thieves were coming different. We jump into that listening with them. It just feels like things are effortless for them. And I don't know about you, but it just feels like when we go into these different tournaments, these different majors, you start to recognize some patterns with teams that are starting to go on a run, that are going to eventually make it into a finals, perhaps. Yeah. It feels like Thieves are in that state right now.
Oh, without question, man. I'm starting to think like everything online when you're talking about the LA Thieves roster is completely irrelevant. As soon as they make it into winner's bracket and don't start on losers, at least they give themselves one chance to make a mistake, potentially lose one series, but they always bounce back. That's now 13-1 in map count since the losers run has started. LA Thieves, they just don't make any mistakes, man. Their teamwork is flawless.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about, oh, actually, we have the map results here. Look at this graphic. This is absolutely fantastic. You see the big guns for the LA Thieves. You talk about Envoy making some major plays toward, or rather down the stretch. The same thing can be said for Drazah. 25 and 17, quite a bit of damage involved in that stat line as well. Just overall phenomenal stuff out of the LA Thieves. As we said, a team that has been known, this lineup's known for walking away with hard points, and that is one that is not abnormal if you are a Thieves fan by any stretch. But one thing that is a tad abnormal, Jay, is how great that they have been, not just in hard point, not just in control, but across every mode, search destroy, they've also been electric at.
Yeah, ever since the first day of the major, where they lose that series to OpTic by dropping both search and destroys. All throughout losers, it's been clutch in search and destroy. 4-0, flawless in that mode. LA Thieves, it's just their teamwork, man. We just watched Minnesota play this Hotel S&D versus Atlanta FaZe. They fell short all the way in round number 11. And I think the biggest difference was when Bance's opportunities, his lanes started to get shut down. Yeah. When the Tiny Terrors started to be aggressive, you forced them to play nice and slow, find that opening pick, and that's when Minnesota started to show some struggles.
Yeah, well, I'm curious to see Minnesota when it comes down to this search destroy. I believe we're headed to, I think it was Hotel next. Is that right? So when we've talked about Minnesota previously, how do you feel about them when it comes down to this map? Players you're looking out for, things of that nature.
I'm definitely looking at Afro because he's the guy that always shuts down that pressure towards that A bomb. When he's sitting towards bottom bedroom, he makes play after play. But alongside Afro, it's got to be the playmaker in Bance. Bance is the guy that when he finds openings, when he makes those plays, pops that dead silence, gets behind enemy lines, he's able to change rounds. So not really the best performance in that map number 1 for either one of those guys, but S&D is where both of those guys need to step up.
And one thing that I also want to chat about too is one player that we did not mention for the Minnesota Røkkr, and that is Cammy, right? Yeah. We have made a huge focus on him. We've given him a massive spotlight throughout a majority of these series. Why is that, Jay?
Because Cammy is like their X factor. He's the guy, when he's going above and beyond, or at least going positive in a bunch of these respawns, they usually find success because your ARs open up the lanes for your SMGs. And right there, with the ARs on the side of LA Thieves, they were locking down a majority of those lanes. No openings for Minnesota, but into this search and destroy, it's going to be all about the first bloods for both of these squads. Don't really have a lot of success in the 3v4 situation. So early on, it's going to be LA Thieves on the defensive end. You see the records right there. First bloods in favor of LA. But it's all about the playmaking, all about what you can shut down and the information that you gain.
We'll see if Røkkr can reply, starting things off on the attacking end. As we jump into game number 2, already from Minnesota, that hard point out of sight, out of mind, but quickly into the reticle they fly with Drazah and Kenny. That is a quick triple, and that is a statement round. That was 15 seconds at best.
That was super fast, man. I don't even know how fast that damn was, but Octane, he holds down the push. He just saw Minnesota play this map. They like to get aggressive towards top plat. Finds the first kill. Kenny eventually finds 2, and then Octane finds the final. Very, very quick round right there. LA Thieves 1-0.
If I'm Drazah, who like spotted the few, first few players off the rip, I'm like, okay, 2 players. Oh, the round's over. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Great job, guys.
I love when that happens. A quick 1-0 start. Phenomenal answer off the rip here from the Thieves as they go up 1-0. Now it's their time to take a look at attack. We'll see what the spread of the mini-map appears to be. You got 2 players toward the top, 2 players toward the bottom. This time it's been Benjamin Bance, who's able to land a nade off the start. And with that, the Røkkr will seize back and allow for the next play to come to them.
So now in the 3v4. Just want to wait. Try to see if you can pick up any ounce of information on the side of the Thieves. It's going to be Kenny who invests that dead silence. This might be his time to strike through mid connector, but Minnesota, they're not budging. They're holding their setup strong. They're able to find a kill on a Kenny 4v2.
That's a frustrating gunfight to lose. If you are the Thieves, you're already down in man count, and now you find yourself in a 2v4. Up to Drazah and Octane, and right now, there for Drazah, he's taking the same gunfight that Kenny just did. Bance not willing to move. Another gunfight victory for him, and Octane will drop. A slower round. But in terms of statistics, that is exactly what you wanted, a direct answer.
Direct answer as Bance finds 3. He's just been in like the MVP caliber all tournament, man. Like if Minnesota is able to make it to that grand finals and potentially win it, he's MVP without question for me.
Gotta be.
He's been going absolutely nuts when it comes to the S&Ds, to the respawns, as he finds 3 in that round. And tied up at 1 now.
I mean, what do you feel like has been the biggest difference for Bance? Like, we've talked so much about Minnesota Røkkr. You and I have had countless casts over them. And he always feels like the objective guy, always feels like the veteran on the team, the guy who's there to bring comms, but he's been the ultimate slayer.
I told you, it just comes down to the knowledge of the game. When you know everything you need to know about it, then it's all about just finding those kills after that, and his gun skill has been stellar, but Cammy's able to find the first 2 kills from the pressure coming in from the Thieves through the middle of the map. Free B-bomb plant, should be able to get down.
However, Drazah could be the only one to knock on the door. Hello, is the kitchen open? Nope, not today. Octane, well, he does have a sniper. This could be cool. I'm not so sure about the round success, though. That was pretty cool, Jay, I'll be honest. I thought I was gonna hit that.
Thought so too, man, but it's Benjamin Bance nonetheless. At the end of that gunfight, just holds his pre-aim, spots the door get cracked. Use that Vaznev up close and personal to close out the round. Minnesota, 2 flawless rounds back-to-back, now up 2-1.
It's been off the back of that, man. As we said, Bance hitting new levels. As we talked about it, just one of the best stories, without question, so far of Major 2 has been Bance's performance. Yeah, I think coming into the day, I'm not sure where he sits right now. A lot of matches have been going down, but came into the day as the #1 KD. As we said, not known as a slayer for this roster, but boy, have they absolutely loved seeing his productivity. Is into round number 4 we go. And Bance looking to be hyper-aggressive. Octane able to spot him. That is great work from the Thieves to pretty much set a trap and wait for someone to walk through. That is 3 players who have now fallen. Last man up is Attach.
Attach in the 1v3 does have dead silence, but this might not be the best opportunity to pop it.
Well.
Oh, well. Jay, gonna prove me completely wrong.
You're saying, Jay, you know who I am? I'm one of the most clutch players of all time.
Oh, well.
Well. Jay, you're smart. You're a smart guy, Jay.
Yeah, it's a 1v3, man. It's a 1v3 with the bomb planted. You have no bedroom control. You probably want to save that for the next round, but Octane, he was the playmaker this round. He finds a 2-piece for both players from Minnesota, trying to flank through middle, and then eventually closes out the round with the final. All even up now. At 2 apiece. LA Thieves back on the defensive end. Minnesota, they found success whenever they wanted, especially towards that B-bomb, so Thieves might have to switch up their setup a little bit.
I'm just loving that last play, though, where Octane, who obviously just had a crazy round, finds 3. They just set up the trap, right? They just wait for Minnesota to bait, to jump on in, and they're able to collapse. We'll see who can win the first blood battle this time. Again, a big focus coming into this map specifically between these 2 teams. And this time it's Kenny who's able to drop it. Bomb making the fast rotation from B. Now back over toward A. We'll see how fast the Thieves are able to adapt.
We'll see as Drazah's watching the cross, but Cammy's able to at least bait his teammate in Afro and find that kill, make it a 3v3. So now bomb is going to get planted. Does Kenny have a tackle? Potentially he's going to open this double door to try to catch the timing. Oh! He does. He's able to find that kill on an Afro. 3v2 now.
Oh, but Attach is at least able to trade. Now brings it into a 2v2. Time to work with still if you're Thieves, but as you hear a timer continue to go, it just elevates your heart rate a little bit more. Octane, a tad antsy, he eventually drops, and now it is all on to Envoy. 1v2, able to put in some nice shots over on Attach. Knows basically where Cammy is coming from. Weakens both of them up, but it will not matter. Røkkr with too many bodies, a bomb planted, and they win another round.
Yeah, Attach just put himself in a great position right there to always find a trade when it was necessary, but then it was Cammy who wins a huge one-on-one onto Octane on the flank. Once you shut that player down, all Attach has to do is pick up the information where he's coming from. He stays alive long enough for Cammy to get into the engagement. Now Minnesota take the lead.
I tell you what, man, I mean, Cammy's scoreline is exactly the reason why Røkkr find themselves up 3-2. I mean, how many times have we talked about where it's been Bance and it's been Afro, your guys who are the playmakers on this team. Cammy's talked about it at length at times, how he feels uncomfortable in search and destroy, but right now, he is king comfortable. Bance able to start things off. Great first blood onto Envoy. And I believe from there, it's one player who's able to escape already into their flank. That is going to be Drazah. So he could be granted a free kill here, at least if timing goes his way. Kenny's able to drop one. Afro able to make him pay. Into the 2v2 we go. And a lot of players, a lot of arrows very close to each other. Jay, now it's all on to Octane.
Attach finds himself towards couches. He's able to take down Drazah. Now it's Octane left in the 1v2. Does he have some magic? Try to tie this game up. Because Minnesota are both going to play towards that B site. They're just going to play the buddy system. You want to play the trade, but with Attach picking up that information, this is where you can strike. Octane's just going to try to get this bomb down.
Quick little dolphin dive. Unfortunately, has to see a dead teammate on the ground. Trying to pick up from where his fallen comrades have left off. 40 seconds to go. Can Sam LaRue lock it down?
40 seconds. He's going to invest his death silence. Might work out perfectly. He decides to re-pinch this. I don't know if Minnesota are going to read this play. He has the opportunity to get it done.
Nothing but his wits and his rifle remain. 25 seconds still to go. Is he going to get the read on Attach? You bet he does. One more to go. Afro, is it a slower game up to this point? Needs a big round. He's trying to read where Octane has gone. But he's not left. He's remained in the same position. Now time continues to tick, and Afro is not going to be able to find him. A 1v2 that they needed. A 1v2 that gets them back in the game. And it's Octane who's able to deliver. Dropping the young gun and sporting a nice little line there in the KD department. 8-3 now, Jay.
Octane just plays that round beautifully. He gets the information that both players are backed up towards B, and then pops that dead silence for the re-pinch, and then just plays the clock beautifully to clutch up the 2v1. He's on a 3 spree. Like you said, sitting at 8-3 overall. He shuts down the kill streak also on the side of Cammy. So no cruise missiles earned, but it's just been a back and forth S&D between both of these teams. This time Minnesota gonna play super patient on their attack. Octane finds another first blood.
And that's so frustrating, right? If you're Minnesota, if you get your SMGs on one side of the map, your ARs on the other, and you are really hoping that your ARs especially do not get picked. Because in gunfights like that, you're just not able to trade effectively. So the captain for Minnesota will have to sit out a round and hope that his boys can come away with the clutch. Bance looks to invest dead silence, and it works out great for him.
That's a big kill from Bance. He's able to take down Kenny. So now in the 3v3, keep in mind that the player with bomb is going to be Cammy. You're putting a lot of pressure on towards B, but no players from aBeZy Thieves are going to hit that rotation. They're still waiting for that rotation back towards this A bomb. Drazah's holding that cross.
Will patience pay off? It absolutely could. It absolutely could. But Drazah, he gets found out. Now it's on to Octane. He's able to find one. Now in a 5 spree. 25 seconds left, and the Minnesota Røkkr are trying to hunt down where Sam LaRue has gone. And with that, the bomb is off to the races. Octane now makes it 6. It's all on to Bance. A 1v2. But Jay, he's managed to escape. This bomb can get planted at B.
Yeah, this is going to be a free B bomb plant. Octane does earn that cruise whistle, but this is not the time to call it in. It's going to be Envoy. He's putting on the pressure, trying to get in towards the site. Both players take control of Kitchen, but Bance is waiting for that dead silence to be earned.
And they know that he had to go through restaurant, considering the angles that they've got. He's going to have dead silence once more. Envoy is going to be on the defuse. He might be too late. He already might be too late for this. Here comes Bance, but Octane watching over for the defuse. And that is just excellent work there for the Thieves, Jay. No idea where Bance was hiding. They hop on it, and they pretty much, Jake, just hold their irons. That's it.
That's the ace right there from Octane. 7 in a row, earns himself the cruise missile, laying down on his belly with that TAC 56. Gonna be able to get a couple kills with that weapon. But he's having a stellar performance in this search and destroy. More kills than his entire team combined. ×2.
I was gonna say, for Envoy and Drazah, they're just hanging out in the Jansport. It was all about them and the hard point, and it's about Kenny and especially Octane here in the search and destroy. Octane has been absolutely phenomenal so far this weekend, as he'll go and look to invest the streak.
And you see play call already come in, and you're using this cruise. You're probably not going to be able to get a kill with it, but you're getting every single ounce of information that you were looking for. Now you can get aggressive in towards the site, but you got to take down Cammy. You can't afford him to take you down. At least make it a 3v3. Bance finds a trade.
Oh, but he also tosses out a nade. Not able to officially wipe away a kill. So Thieves bring it out to a 2 versus 2. And considering how much noise that they've made at that B site, the rotation feels all but necessary. Kenny right now with the objective on his back. But something to consider is that Minnesota, they've also read this play too, Jay. Afro and Attach still alive.
Yeah, Attach was able to at least spot them on the cross, so he's going to send Afro on that late pinch. But LA Thieves, they're just trying to push right on through. Minnesota, I think that they read this play. Wow. But LA Thieves are going to push right through that A site. They're going to make their way back to B. Bomb is going to get planted in the 2v2 situation.
We could tell from Minnesota, they're like, where are these guys? We were just over at B, now we're at A. Where have they gone? To the kitchen they go. Bomb down. First player at ear's distance is going to be Afro, as he and Attach are going to have to come away with the retake. Attach is hitting the long route, gets some visuals from afar. Kenny says a prayer, tosses out a nade, and at least gets Attach out of the fight for now.
30 seconds. Afro trying to be the aggressor. Kenny's able to spot him. Time is starting to tick. You got to at least find one kill and then get towards this site. So they're able to get the hit marker with the nade onto Kenny. They find the kill onto Octane. Kenny in the 1v1. He can't clutch it. He was damaged by the nade. They go for the chow as Afro finds the final 2 kills on the round. Tie it up at 4, and that one's got to be devastating for the Thieves because you invest a cruise missile, you get all the information that you were looking for, but it still does not lead to a round win. Minnesota tie it up at 4.
You could tell, man, Kenny, he was just snaking his heart out, just hoping that this round could exist for as long as possible, see that timer go away. But it is Røkkr who come out on top in a swing round situation. Drazah, well, he's joined the agency, at least for now. We'll see if he can come online and maybe give the Thieves just that little bit of extra to cross the finish line, go up 2-0 in this series. Right into round number 9 we go. Utility toss, tacticals thrown, and grenades. They're gonna leave Hotel in a much worse spot. And right now, all 8 players just hunting for information.
Yeah, no one wants to get picked. No one wants to be first-blooded. It's Minnesota just trying to get the information of how they're going to be playing this setup. Envoy is going to get spotted. Snakes going on, but gets the assist right there from Kenny to find that first blood onto Bance. Now you have to get aggressive towards this bomb. We saw a 3v4 clutch from Minnesota before. Can they do it again?
That nade nearly landed right on the forehead of Cammy. Thankfully, he stays alive, but only for a moment. The bomb also does not get planted, so it's sitting pretty much in the open. Thankfully, Attach makes life a little bit easier, but in shooting, he reveals his position, and now it's all up to Afro. He gets found out. Thieves, 5-4.
Just slowly picking them apart. They execute that game plan perfectly to solo out Bance. He was the only player in towards Diner. Once you get that first blood, you know Minnesota are going to be 3 stacking, especially in the cross towards bedroom. You allow that pinch to come in as Drazah finds his very first kill of the map.
There it is.
On to Attach, but eventually left in the 1v3. Afro stood no chance. LA Thieves at game point.
We'll see how Røkkr can try to get back into this game. They absolutely need a round here. Going down 0-2 versus a very hot Thieves team would not spell well for them. It's a trade off the rip, but thankfully Envoy, if you are a Thieves fan, ends up cutting away Bance. So the SMG duo, the playmakers for Minnesota, have quickly fallen.
Oh, and then Attach gets picked. Drazah finds the final kill. LA Thieves Clutch up in the search and destroy. Take it in a 6-4 fashion. Teamwork was on point. Communication had to be on point. They made the mid-round adjustments and they worked out perfectly. Now find themselves in a commanding 2-0 lead.
Commanding lead at that there for the Thieves. And how about the game? How about the performance that we have there out of Sam LaRue? Turret-like without question. We know him to be dominant in the hard points, to be dominant in the respawns, but boy, did he have a fantastic map there, Jay. Finishing off 14-4. Also involved in a few different first blood engagements, and that is a huge performance on one side and a massive lack on the other. Røkkr, they were banking on that search destroy to go their way.
They definitely were, man, because now you find yourself down 0-2 in the series, and you're not going to play an easy team in control. Both of these guys are some of the best that we have in the mode. But for the last 7 in a row on the side of LA Thieves, they have won every single control. So a tall task ahead for Minnesota. Series is far from done, but they don't have an aLLeY control. That's usually the bank.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think so far at this tournament, they've only played aLLeY control. We've been waiting for one team to finally ban that against them, and it's the Thieves who come away and manage to get that fortress through. So a big opportunity here for the Thieves to close it out in 3. Jay, if there's one difference, if there's one thing that happens in this game that allows for it to go Røkkr's direction, what does that have to be?
Afro. It's got to be Afro. He didn't have the best performance in map number 1, didn't have the best performance in map number 2. He has to turn it around on that fortress.
Yeah, without question. Going into this commercial break, I'm sure right now for the coaches of Minnesota Røkkr, they're trying to get the boys going, trying to get Afro going. They need the young gun to arrive. If not, this is going to be a fast series, and our grand final is going to start early in just like maybe 30 minutes or so. So we'll see if Røkkr can start to answer back in this next control. Make sure and stay with us. Game 3 underway. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Championship Sunday. That is what it's all about, the Boston Trophy, as we're down to our final 3 teams. Right now we sit in the elimination bracket going down between Minnesota Røkkr, or the elimination final here in the bracket, the final match of the elimination bracket. Minnesota Røkkr taking on the LA Thieves. So far, buddy, it has been all LA Thieves. They have continued to keep up this dominant run so far through the lower bracket. I tell you what, man, this is just a team that just seems to be hitting strides in every regard.
The crazy thing is like we saw this form of LA Thieves at stage 4 of last year when they got incomplete every single mode. They took over when they started to understand the game the most, and so far in this series they have been doing that. You win rotations on map number 1, Octane goes massive in that map number 2. Nothing can go wrong right now for LA.
But the one thing that could, the one thing that we feel like has the opportunity to change things up quite a bit for the LA Thieves, if there's one guy in the Minnesota Røkkr, it's got to be Afro.
Oh, without question, man. Like I said, not the best performance in map number 1 or map number 2. As we take a look at the stats so far in this series, 0.55. That has to be the lowest I have seen in quite some time from this young man, because he's a stellar player with that SMG in hand. He usually has that takeover ability, just hasn't shown it here, so he has to be the answer.
And we've talked about it. I mean, when it came down to even in the offseason, when Afro was added to the Minnesota Røkkr, we thought, wow, this could be the guy to change everything for Minnesota, and he has, right? He is one of the reasons, without question, why they sit right now where they do. But you do wonder a little bit, right? Being a younger player, I think it's maybe his 2nd ever Championship Sunday. When it comes down to the pressure, when it comes down to the playmaking, it could be affecting him a little bit. Maybe the Thieves starting to silence him. I mean, you just wonder, that game 5 round 11 that you're coming off of, you're trying to get that out of your mind. You get punished by the Thieves' teamwork. It would be a huge moment if Afro can lead the charge, get this team at least a fortress control dub.
Yeah, without question. That commercial break might have just done some wonders. The coaches are able to get into his ear, reinstall that confidence into this young man, as it's going to be Minnesota on the defensive side. We saw LA Thieves clutch up an insane round versus OpTic Texas and already find an opening, making their way out through double doors.
Yeah, as we talk about on fortress control, it is all about the defensive end. However, Thieves were able to come away with an attack that helped get them to that round 5 where they clutched up versus OpTic Texas. As we said, it's about teamwork to make your way through your base, to really punch your way through that setup toward the back. And right now the Thieves making great work already at that B zone, by far the more difficult of the 2. And right now, Jay, they are already halfway to completing it.
Already halfway as Envoy finds another kill. That's 3 dead in the feed. Attach is able to take down 1. The 2nd tick is about to come in. All of LA going to put the pressure on towards B. They want to get this one out of the way. The stack is there, and that's going to be B. Done and dusted. Time is going to be extended by a minute. Octane finds 2, and now that's 3 dead already. You have LA Thieves players in your spawn. You have to find these kills if you are Minnesota.
Yeah, that's the worst part for Røkkr, is not only did they cap the point, but they also kept the players who just capped the point. Right now, Drazah trying to cause some havoc right now inside the base. That's going to be 3 down. 1 player off the spawn. It's going to be Cammy. Farthest pushed up player. Can he make a difference? Drazah with that SMG in hand. The best has arrived, as that will be 3. First segment already in at A, as Røkkr are scrambling.
Røkkr are scrambling. The 2nd tick is about to come in. Can he find another kill? You have to go. You have to go. You have to contest it, but they cannot. LA Thieves are not making any mistakes. The SMGs are going above and beyond. And when Drazah whips one out, you can just tell that they're confident as hell. Beautiful start to this control. LA Thieves 1-0.
My goodness, man. I mean, we're talking about Minnesota. We're trying to sell it right now for them.
They're smiling, man.
Thieves are having a blast. They're just like, wow, we just did that. We literally just went through Cat B. Drazah, you whipped at us up, and you absolutely fried, my good friend. 1-0 start here for LAT, as now they actually, believe it or not, walk into the more preferred side here on defense. We'll see if Røkkr can reply. Right now, they need something, Jay.
Yeah, these kills are big right off the rip. You have to win these initial gunfights. Already 2 going in favor of both squads. They're able to stop that clock by getting onto the point. Just got to keep the trades going. As Cammy staying alive on A, allowing his teammates to get into the play. But the sticky comes in. Afro is able to find that kill. Minnesota, they're finding their way out.
At least are for now. A big 1v1. Bance is able to take that, thankfully, with the nade. So he's at least able to put a bit of pressure now onto the Thieves, make them second guess, make them look both ways, essentially, before crossing. Right now, Kenny's locking down this B zone, and that could be the direction that Røkkr elect to take. It's really based off of a few individual kills, and with that, Minnesota begin to rush on forward. One player in the backside right now is going to be Bance. Trying to make some plays on the flank. Can he break this one open?
Yeah, Bance is just waiting for his teammates to find a couple kills so he can make the timing to attack. It's going to be all out pressure in through bottom arc. That's going to be 2 kills, make it 3. They take down Bance. Now all the players from Minnesota are stuck in the trap. They have nothing to show for it. 30 seconds left. You have to at least get some segments done.
Yeah, this is when it starts to get scary, especially versus this Thieves team who just has unbelievable comms. Envoy already, by the way, at 13-4. Røkkr, bit of a conga line to the top side of the map, but they begin to fall in stride. It's a shooting gallery right now from the Thieves. Envoy, a heat check, but 5 seconds only remain. That's going to be 3 in the feed. Can Røkkr dive onto this point, or will Octane cause some more heartbreak? Oh, there's no time left. Minnesota, they die off of that A zone. And now the Thieves in firm control of this map already.
Yeah, so now if you are the Thieves, you can do whatever the hell you want on this attacking round. You're up 6 segments. You keep them to a donut in that department. So going into this attack, they just like to get out towards stables. They like to push out towards B, get that one out of the way, and then allow their SMGs to slay around the map. As Envoy, like you said, having a stellar performance in this control. 15-5, triple positive, 3.0 KD. He's doing it all.
He is indeed, my friend, right now. For LAT, as we said, expected them to go for the crazy stuff, to go for the wild plays. Still like to make that initial attack over at B. Right now for Røkkr, you got a lot of veterans on this squad. As we said, I know we've got the young gun in Afro, but you got a lot of veterans on this Røkkr team. Trying to dig deep. This is definitely the more preferred side for them. When we talk about defense, we'll see if they can dig their heels in, get those shots firing, and finally hold off Thieves for once.
So Drazah, he's already snuck his way out. He's just trying to find a kill to open it up for his squad. Takes down the first, Octane finds a second, but they're able to get out through double doors. So now it's on Envoy, the nuisance so far throughout this entire map. He's going to be able to come up behind a couple players, finds the first kill on Cammy, tries to snap onto attach, but cannot find it. Minnesota holding strong, LA Thieves trapped in.
At least for the moment, 30 seconds to go. Røkkr, they just got to hold. This would be a great defensive win for them, considering that no segments have been grabbed yet for the Thieves, trying to stop the time. Envoy trying to make some plays over at P1. That gun engagement will go his way. Now it's on a Drazah. He's able to drop that one. Nice long-range shots coming in from Afro. However, the time is going to be paused. Envoy using every bit of cover that he possibly can as here comes Bance trying to arrive, trying to shut him down. That's going to be 1. Envoy eventually falls. No segment there for Thieves.
No segment. So that's good work right there from Minnesota. They're doing exactly what they need to do on the defensive side, but that's going to be 2 kills in favor of the Thieves. They're able to get out once again. If you find another one, you can potentially stop this clock by hopping on that 8 point. So now, LA, they have a lot of map control to work with. That's already 2, make it 3 dead in the feed. They're able to get that first segment already done at A.
Could be the entire objective, especially if Envoy's winning fights like that. He is skating right now on Fortress. Give him another one. Now sitting on 4 in a row, 21-9. I was gonna say, he's just basically a silhouette in the sunset now. He's in their base, feeling confident, trying to stay alive, eventually falls. But Jay, his presence is why we have another minute added on to the clock. Maybe the final minute of Røkkr's tournament lives.
And it's 11-9 in lives remaining, so you have to hold strong if you are Minnesota. You gotta play for these kills. You cannot allow them to get out. As Envoy finds another one, already makes his way into bottom art. That's 3 dead in the feed. Attach has to try to go big. Attach in the perfect position is able to take down 2. Bance with the 3rd. They shut down the push from LA. 35 seconds and only 5 lives remaining on the side of LA.
Yep, only a few lives left here for Thieves. As Bance looks to get going, looks to get heated up, making that score line definitely look a bit better, but you're happy with what you saw. I mean, at the end of the day, you are happy with what you saw in that last round for Røkkr. At the same time, though, Jake, that's a position where they're supposed to do things like that.
Yeah, they're supposed to be able to hold strong on the defensive end. But the only thing now is that they definitely would not have that defense going into round number 5, as LA Thieves have now completed 9 segments. So they have the preferred side, and back-to-back rounds. Minnesota need a miracle.
We've seen it happen previously. Yeah, they've had crazier comebacks before, but I mean, we know what the story is, right? Attack, on control. We've seen LA Thieves do it. We've seen it happen a few different times already here in this tournament. What does Røkkr need to do, Jay? How do they stay alive right here?
It's all about the kills off the rip. You have to find at least a clean 2 to 3 dead, stack one of these points and extend time by a minute, stay alive in the live apartment. Just play your life as the SMGs, roaming around, being nuisances in towards art, playing for a couple small kills, but it's all about these initial fights.
Oh, attach. The captain, right now from Minnesota, drops off the start. Envoy. Great team fire coming in from the Thieves. We said it's going to come down to this opening wave, and Røkkr, they're dropping like flies. They're dropping like flies. Envoy putting some damage in as now Minnesota trying to find an opening, looking for a lane. And every time they jump into one, it's just instant gunfire. It is shots from every direction. Man. As another 2 fall, Røkkr, time continues to fall away.
And not a single player from LA has dropped yet. Still perfect in the lives remaining. They have put them early on into this trap. Minnesota cannot get out of their spawn. Envoy is watching the cross. He watches 3 players cross. He's able to take down 2. He's just making plays. 30 and 12, Lando. Unbelievable performance out of Envoy.
30 seconds to go. However, 1 player has snuck through for Minnesota, and that's going to be Bance. Can he stay up, win a wild, wild gunfight? As he's going to have his hands full. 2 members already here for Thieves, waiting for a bit of teammate support. He's got 1 tick through, but he's going to need a heck of a lot more. He's lost a few reinforcements, but Attach is able to find 2. Envoy comes in with the streak, so Attach is gone. Bance, still the sole member alive. 20 seconds left, and he drops.
Oh, he drops, and now it's all onto Afro. The farthest player pushed up. He's able to stop the clock, but from the top ropes, Kenny comes flying, able to take him down 10 seconds away from LA. Making it to that grand final.
Oh, it looks like it is going to be the Thieves to come away with the 3-0. Is it about to be again? And yes, it will be. The heroic run through the elimination bracket continues. As you can mark it up, now 15 and 1 in maps. Incredible, incredible job here from the Thieves as they made this series look easy, Jay.
They did exactly what was needed. When you come off of an insane series like the way they did versus OpTic Texas, momentum is heavily on your side. They came out swinging in that map number 1, made the adjustments, won the rotations. Like I said, Octane's performance in that search and destroy was above and beyond.
Yeah.
It's like everyone took their turn in this series. Map number 1, it was Envoy and Drazah. Map number 2 was Octane. And then Envoy puts a nice little bow on it in that control to close out the series in a clean 3-0. Obviously, on the side of Minnesota, this is a devastating loss. You were one round away from making it to that grand final. You couldn't shake that one off. And unfortunately, you're going to get sent home 3rd overall at Major 2. That's unfortunate for them, man, but a great tournament from them overall.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think you have to absolutely give your props, your flowers over to Minnesota Røkkr. I don't think many people expected them to be here on Championship Sunday, let alone to walk away with the placement that they have. However, you feel for them, right? You feel for them in that last series, how close they were to making it into the finals. They then drop into the elimination bracket and just run in. So one of the historic runs that we've seen this Thieves franchise make previously. As we said, now at 15 and 1 heading into this final.
I feel like it's always LA Thieves making some insane losers bracket run. You can think about past Call of Duties as well. Like, they always know what's needed to make it all the way to the very end. And their teamwork has been stellar ever since they make it to losers. You can't make mistakes or you go home. And they have not made a single one and now find themselves in a final dance with Atlanta.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one, right? We've seen that matchup a few times previously, without a doubt, but that's going to do it for myself and Jay. A dominant win here for the Thieves as they've got themselves a date now with the Atlanta FaZe in the finals. That's going to do it for us. We now send it over to Puckett and the desk. Take it away, guys.
Is anyone better than the LA Thieves when it comes to a lower bracket run? I think not. 15 and 1 after 5 match wins straight. They are looking like they're putting the rest of the league on notice, and there's only 1 match to go if they want to raise that Boston trophy. We got Maven on the desk here, and Maven, we thought we'd be seeing a lot more games. The Røkkr showing potential in that game 1, but you can't stop Sam LaRue and the rest of his crew.
I didn't think it was going to be that many games because I really think, like, Joe and I talked about this at the beginning of the year with how it went for Thieves last year. Like, they're a team that wants to play in a system. When it starts to click for them, it takes a little bit of time. When it starts to click, they are a terrifying force. I'm not saying they're there yet, like the end of last year for them, but, bro, they're getting there. They are getting close to being a nightmare for everybody, bro.
Yeah. LA Thieves win again. Let's take a look at one of those winning moments. This is Control, and this is one of the early rounds, though, but they come out and they set the tone, Ant.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It's an initial offensive round. Like, they just make plays. And, you know, we talk about the fundamentals on the side of LA Thieves, how good they are, and what was holding them back throughout Major 1 of some individual performances. Well, now you're getting kills like this. Like, Drazah's coming out and just taking over games. Envoy has a crazy performance. 3-piece here out of Drazah to start things off. They're able to capture that B point instantly, and then he gets a 3K, backs up with the stack, and they get A to win an offense off the rip and set the tone here on Fortress Control. Once this happens, like, not only are you up 2-0 in the series, you want an offense on Fortress, the series is done at that point.
Right. Like,
no one was talking about Kenny and Envoy being threats in the SMG roles. Do you got to take notice after this series?
Oh, absolutely. You know, Envoy's called that Dark Prince for a reason, and he's one of those players that once he's going, he is very, very difficult to slow down. And the fact that Kenny was holding right there with him, Kenny was a player we highlighted that, you know, he wasn't feeling well. He gets back into the league, and he didn't put up the performance that he wanted to, and he was like, I want you guys to watch out for me. I know I can do better, and I will do better, and he's done that for this run from the LA Thieves.
well, what's weird for me is, like, I thought that click was going to happen. Like, I really thought the team was going to get towards this point. I didn't think this would be the event because the stuff leading into it. Like, you didn't have practice with your full team really much at all going into this. So for that, I'm a little bit shocked, but here we are.
They earn your scuff play of the game. Let's take a look at it. It comes from the old man Octane, and here he is pulling off another search and destroy ace. We've seen a number of them throughout his career. This was a big time to do it, aLLeY. Walk me through this play.
I mean, it's just the way he plays top plat right here, right? He gets a kill that 9 times out of 10, usually you don't win that, and then he just plays his life from there on out. Throughout this entire search and destroy, Octane was just incredible. I mean, you let the man drop 14 kills, and that's not even his strongest game mode. So I think this is terrifying, especially as the backbone for LA Thieves, and Sam is definitely a player that gets overlooked sometimes just because of how solid and consistent that he is in these games.
We showed a lot of love to the LA Thieves, but we also have to say goodbye to the Røkkr. They are now out in 3rd place. They get the bronze medal for this one. Nameless, I feel like they showed us a lot, especially in the winners bracket run they made.
100%. I mean, this is a Røkkr team that, you know, up until the midway point of the qualifying stage, we were like wondering if they should make a roster change. Like, what do they need to do? Well, they turned it around tremendously. The search and destroy coming into this event has been way better. One of the backbones of this Røkkr franchise. And then Bance also, like, he's been dominating, like, was having an MVP performance throughout this tournament. They just ran into a really hot LA Thieves. And it's tough when you're down there and you drop down to that losers bracket. Look at Thieves' run. They were on fire. Røkkr definitely have a good foundation to build upon.
We got to take a look at the bracket one more time because that finals match is coming up. Will FaZe take the full 40 minutes and ice out the Thieves, or is this match going to start early? Don't worry, we got all kinds of content ready for you, and of course, we've got a ton of highlights to go through after the break. Before we get there, quick reminder, there's some sick gear in Call of Duty right now, Maven, and the fans at home, they can have some right now. Get in on some of this action. Do it. It's a wonderful idea.
I love it. Look at that. That's super heat. I like the name of it. That is sexy. You know, I'm all for dub skins. I've been grinding all the titles within Warzone, DMZ, multiplayer. I want it all. Give me it all, Chris.
All the skins, all the time. Maven will be joining us as we come back. Don't go anywhere. One match to go from Boston. It's Major 2. We'll be right back.